the story of James and Thomas Flynn from Banagher, both Civil War soldiers. James Flynn from Banagher in County Offaly, then a tailor in New York, was 41 years of age when he enlisted in the Union Army in late 1861. He was a volunteer soldier, and enlisting at his then perceived advanced age would have been seen as a surprising decision. But it seems the reason was clear to James. His son, Thomas Flynn, who was only 14 years of age, had run away from home and had succeeded in joining the Union Army only a few months earlier. James Flynn decided, rightly or wrongly, that the best way to track down and hopefully return his son safely home was by also joining the Union Army. James Flynn originally enlisted in the 1st New York Cavalry, but was discharged from this unit in December 1861. Not to be deterred, he then enlisted in the 7th New Hampshire Infantry and was assigned to hospital duty as a nurse. At this time, the majority of nurses in the army were male and were referred to in most cases as hospital stewards. This would change as the war progressed, as more and more female nurses were employed. By the end of hostilities, the majority of nurses in hospitals were women. The US Civil War, along with the Crimean War from 1853 to 1856, would completely transform the role of women and of nursing in hospitals forever. The poignant letters of James Flynn sent to his wife Susan over the next 2 years tell the story of a father searching for his son and of almost succeeding in his task. In these letters, James indicates that he has information as to how Thomas is doing and of where he is seeing action. But the irony is, being a soldier himself, James is unable to reunite with his son. His original plan when entering the army was to locate his son and then contact the War Department in Washington, informing them that his son was underage, but he is advised by his superiors in his regiment that this would be frowned upon and may actually cause problems for both of them. The letters also show that Thomas Flynn is in contact with his mother and keeps her updated as to where he is stationed. One particular letter from Thomas is particularly fascinating, as it gives an account of the famous assault led by the charismatic General Philip Sheridan on Fisher's Hill in Virginia in September 1864. Thomas Flynn. On the 22nd, Sheridan again led his charge to Fisher's Hill, which we carried at the point of bayonet. The rebel army would not fight. If they would show only resistance, we could not carry the hill. They could kill us by bowling stones on us from the top of it. The Thomas Flynn is promoted to the rank of sergeant at only 18 years of age in 1864 and will survive the war despite being involved in some major battles during his service. He works as a coachman on his return to civilian life, but will contract pneumonia in 1873 and dies at only 28 years of age. Our own Danny Levy visited his grave in 2024 and laid the Offaly flag on his plot as a mark of respect to this brave Banagher soldier who lived a very short but very eventful life. His father, James Flynn, would never locate his son during his time in the Union Army, as he is captured in the aftermath of the Battle of Olustee in Florida. In his final letter to his wife in March 1864, he informs her he has been wounded but is recovering, and hopes to reunite with her soon. James Flynn. I was wounded just on the lower ribs and the ball passed out within 2 inches of my backbone near my 2 shoulder blades. I'm getting on first rate, do not fret, keep good courage. If you were to see the wounded men, you would pity them. We are treated very kindly by the enemy, as much so as the circumstances care to admit. I hope soon to be moved, I suppose, to Georgia to be paroled or exchanged. God willing, I will soon see you. Sometime after writing this letter, James Flynn is listed as missing in action. Within the Flynn family history, the story is that James was transferred to the dreaded Andersonville prison in Georgia. There are records of a James Flynn being an inmate in Andersonville and attempting an escape, but as of today we cannot prove that this is the James Flynn from Banagher in County Offaly. This father and husband, who enlisted in the army in order to find his young son, would sadly never see any of his family again.